Good day, viewers. It is another time to study mathematics, and just as we promised to always optimize the best and deliver to you accordingly. So today we have a concept to study. Please kindly click subscribe button so we can see more videos as it will be uploading, as it will be coming. Let us have the topic. We want to see how we derive quadratic formula, and get to know this quadratic formula is a powerful instrument in mathematics that we can use to solve any forms of quadratic equation. First, we need to know what a form of quadratic equation look like. Anything we have in this nature of ax raised to the power 2 plus bx plus c is equal to 0, where a, b and c are constants, such that a is not equal to 0. So anything of this nature is considered to be quadratic equation. So let's start. When we have ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0, the first thing we do to this is that we divide through by a. When we divide through by a, there are two things we can do to this. The first thing is to divide through by a, or we subtract c from both sides. When we divide through by a, we're going to have something of this nature: x squared plus bx minus a plus c over a is equal to 0. Or when we subtract c from both sides, we're going to have ax squared plus bx is equal to negative c. And the next thing we do to this is that we take away c over a from both sides. And when we do that, we're going to have x squared plus bx over a is equal to negative c over a. The same thing to the other side that we're using to compare the operation we perform. That one as well, we can now divide both sides or divide through by a, meaning we're still going to have the same result. When we divide that through by a, we're going to have x squared plus bx over a is equal to negative c over a. So when we get to this point, the next thing we need to do is that we make the left hand side, we make it a perfect square. We make it a perfect expression. And how do we do that? We have to add the square of half of coefficient of x. Let's get this stated. Adding the square of half of the coefficient of x, we add it to both sides. The coefficient of x in this case is b over a, and the half of b over a is b over 2a. So the square of half of b over 2a is what we are adding to both sides. And when we do that, so just for us to have the left hand side in a perfect expression so that we can factorize it. And whatever we do to the left hand side, we have to do it to the right hand side. And when we do that, we're going to have x squared plus bx over a plus into b over 2a squared. And we add it to the left side, we also add it to the other side, is equal to negative c over a plus into b over 2a squared. So the next thing we'll do now is that we can now factorize the left hand side because it is a perfect expression now. And when we factorize that, we can have x plus b over 2a all squared. If we open this, what you have just factorized, we're going to return back to the previous expression, which is x squared plus bx over a plus b over 2a all squared. So when we factorize it, this is what we have. And the right hand side, the b over 2a all squared, we're going to simplify that, meaning that b times b is b squared, 2a times 2a is 4a squared. And that is how we have it. Then we proceed to simplify the right hand side by taking the LCM of a and 4a squared. And when we do that, we're going to have 4a squared as the LCM. So how many a do we have in 4a squared? That is 4a. 4a times minus c. So that will be minus 4ac plus how many 4a squared do we have in 4a squared? That is 1. So 1 times b squared, it will be b squared. And that is what we have. So the next thing we do now is to take the square root of both sides. When we take the square root of both sides, the square at the left hand side will be cancelled out, and square will emerge at the right hand side, and we're going to have something of this nature. X plus b over 2a is equal to plus or minus root negative 4ac plus b squared over 4a squared. Reason being that the plus or minus indicated to show us that when we have plus 3 times plus 3, it will be plus 9. When we have minus 3 times minus 3, it will be plus 9. So the plus or minus indicated the two signs and possible results that we're going to obtain when we are taking the square root. So the next thing we'll do here is that we take the square root of the denominator 4a squared. When we take the square root of 4a squared, we're going to have at the denominator it will be 2a. So we're going to have x plus b over 2a is equal to plus or minus root b squared minus 4ac over 2a. What have we done here is just a rearrangement. Plus b squared minus 4ac is the same thing as having minus 4ac plus b squared. So we have rearranged it in that order. And the next thing we'll do now is that we take away b over 2a from both sides. That is subtracting b over 2a from both sides, so that we can have x standing alone at the left hand side, and it will be x is equal to negative b over 2a plus or minus root b squared minus 4ac over 2a. And after that, at the right hand side, we can take the LCM, which LCM will be 2a. And once we take the LCM, to simplify that, we're going to have x is equal to minus b plus or minus root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. This is how we'll come about quadratic formula, and we have it. Thank you so much for listening. Please click subscribe button for more videos.